There's a lot of space outside of the Flness on the planet Oerth, and I want to talk about it today on Greyhawk Grognard. The shape of Oerth is, uh, on the one hand, a little bit known, and on the other hand, very unknown, because we have some names and we have some vague ideas of some things, and we just don't have any definitive answers as to what is where in some cases. So let me just start off from the beginning. In the Guide to the World of Greyhawk, this is also in the folio. As is obvious, the Oerth continent is the major center of the world, and the eastern portion, the Flness, is the center of enlightened humanity. Remember, this is an in-world book, so it's going to be written from the perspective of somebody in the Flness who thinks that where they live just happens to be the most important place in the universe. Um, Oerth has four great continents and countless islands, and four great oceans and countless seas which surround these bodies of land. Okay, so it's very, very definitive there. And we know one, obviously. One of the continents is Oerth. That is the eastern part of Oerth is the Flness, where most of what people think of as Greyhawk exists. So it's the map behind me is the Flness, which is just a little peninsula on this huge continent of Oerth. Um, so that's two down. And in one of Gary Gygax's later Gord the Rogue novels, Dance of Demons, we have this little tidbit, which adds a little bit, but also opens up a question. Um, the three, meaning Gord, Leda, and Geller, the three had been chivied and chased across the whole of the world from the distant south through the moving islands, which we know nothing else about. He just throws out the name, and it's a beautiful idea. I want to develop that at some point. Up and across Gondoria's vast continent. So there's one. There's Gondoria is another continent like Oerth. Um, and thence across the Agitoric Ocean to western Oryx shores. Okay, so we get a couple of names in there. We get Gondoria and we get the Agitoric Ocean. So that's two continents now that we have named, right? We have Oerth and Gondoria. And that is our third um, ocean, right? Because we've got the Solnor Ocean off to the side there. We've got the Bromwich Ocean up there. So that's three out of four oceans named. So that's we're doing good so far. But we don't know where this Agitoric Ocean is, and we don't know where Gondoria is. Um, and unfortunately, the maps that we get in here are of little use. There's a few things that show a little bit outside of the Flness, but it doesn't really give you any information about anything. So that's where we stood for many, many years, is we just had three oceans named and we had two continents definitively named. So then more stuff began to come out. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to everybody who's watching. It really means a lot to me to have you all here. If you like what I'm doing and you want to see me do more of it, then please do become a channel member or join on Patreon. Links are below. If you'd like to throw me some money and get something really cool in return, you can buy stuff from my BRW Games web store. Again, link is below if you want to get Adventures Dark and Deep or Castle of Mad Archmage or something like that. Every dollar I get that way is time I get to not spend having to write stuff to sell, right? I can do more free stuff and more videos and stuff. So please do take a moment and support the channel if you can. And now back to the show. And then Dragon Magazine Annual number one came out and gave us a lot more information about what was going on in the rest of Orc. I can't find my copy; it's here somewhere, but I'll put it up on the screen for you. They published a map of Orc and some descriptions, just a one page. Each one gets like a little paragraph telling us what was going on there, and we learn about the Empire of Lin, and we learn about the barbarian Seameast and Nippon and all just various places like that that flesh out a little bit about what's going on in the rest of Orc. Then later on, we get the Chainmail game. It came out in 2001. It's a miniature skirmish game, and it's set in Northwest Orc. So we get a lot more detail about what's going on there. There's some maps and good stuff there, but we still don't have anything definitive. And if you look at the that Dragon Magazine Annual 1 map, you can see in the corner there's this little like half-formed circle that is another either island or continent or something. And in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer, which I will endeavor, a map of which I will endeavor to fold out without tearing it and destroying it, largely unsuccessfully, it seems. Well, it's right side up. We get that that little inset there, and it shows us what else is going on, right? So we have Oerth is the main continent. It shows the inset of the Flanaess, and in the lower left, you'll see there's this continent, and that is the same continent that we saw in the Dragon Annual map, except here it's all in one piece, so you can get an idea of its scale, and also that big bay that's on the one side. So things are starting to flesh in. We still don't have a name for it though. So the inclination is to say that that is Gonduria, and the reason is because we're starting to run out of places. Because in addition to all this, now, as we got in the Scarlet Brotherhood, Hepmonaland, which is the big what used to be an island southeast of the Flanaess, is now a continent, and they give a lot of detail on it here. I'm not going to unfold the map again. But there's a whole new subrace of humans, and it shows the Scarlet Brotherhood, and there's the Olmans are there. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. It's got kind of an Africa kind of vibe. So that's another continent, right? So now we've got Oerth, which we knew about. We've got Hepmonaland, which we know about. We knew the name of Gondoria, and now we've got a place to put it. And that still leaves another continent. And this is the weird part because a lot of people are going to say that Telchuria, Polaria, the big ice flow land in the north of the Flanaess, are going to say that's a continent. And what they're doing though is they're ignoring the way that a map distorts things at the poles. So like on a normal map of Earth, you've got the South Pole, right, the Antarctica, and it looks huge and enormous, and it is big, but it's not that big. And it's the same way that some of the northern islands in Canada and Greenland, they get distorted. They look like they're vast, huge areas, and they're not small, but they're not nearly as big as it seems they are on the map. And that's just because things at the top and the bottom of any map are going to get distorted in a regular Mercator projection. Anna Meyer does a ton of work on this kind of stuff. She's the expert, not me. Um, but anyway, I'm of the belief that it's too small to be actually called a continent. So that leaves us with the question: where is this other continent? What is it? And I think we have an answer. And that answer is Aquaria. This was Frank Messer's campaign world. Back in the day, Gary Gygax was planning on portioning out bits of the world of Greyhawk to other authors, right? So we've had Len Kafka had the Lindor Islands, Francois Froival, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, had the Empire of Lin, which is on the far side of Oerth. We saw that in the Dragon Annual 1 map, and it was actually referenced again in Expedition to the what was it? Return to the Ruins of Greyhawk or something like that. Expedition to the Greyhawk Ruins. They mention some of the things there, mentioning the Empire of Lin, the city of Lin. So we have that firmly entrenched, and Frank Menster's Aquaria was going to be across the Solnor Ocean, so on the way to the east of the map behind me, across an ocean. And it's called Aquaria. And I know there's efforts there've been efforts for a long, long time to bring it to publication. It's going to be a huge project, but I hope it does see the light of day at some point. And the in his mythology, it was settled by an offshoot of the Oridian folks, which he calls the Aquaridians. And it's a full-fledged campaign world unto itself, but it just happens to be on Oerth. So that's our fourth continent. So we've got Oerth, which also includes the Flanaess. We've got Gondoria, which is to the southwest of Oerth. We've got Hepmonaland, which is to the southeast of Oerth. And we've got Aquaria, which is between the east and western coasts of Oerth. And that gives us a really nice it fills it in very nicely, right? We know what the four we know what the four continents are, but we're still missing that one sea, that one ocean, right? Because we're supposed to have four oceans, and we've got the Dramage Ocean up here, we've got the Solnor Ocean to the right, to the east of the thing, and where are our other oceans? And this is where we come back to that Dragon Annual 1 map, because we know we've got the two oceans on this map, but there's also an Ocean of Storms and an Oceanum Titanicum, which is on the west coast of Oerth. But that where's that Agitoric ocean that Gygax talked about? Now we've got five. Now we've got too many. We have a surfeit of oceans, and I think that the Agitoric Ocean is the same as the Oceanum Titanicum. I think because especially given that quote from the book that we started off with. It would be between Gonduria and Oerth, and the Oceanum Titanicum, which is on the left side of the Dragon Annual 1 map. You could see you could make the case that you could get from Gonduria to the west coast of Oerth through the Oceanum Titanicum. So I think it's just another name for it. So you've got Oerth and then Aquaria. You got Oerth, the Solnor Ocean, Aquaria, and the Oceanum Titanicum / Agitoric Ocean. And I think that's how how it all uh, shakes out, right? So we've got our four oceans, we've got our four continents, and all is right with the world. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little trip through geography of Oerth. I love this kind of stuff, trying to tease out what's happening where, and a lot of fans are looking at doing some stuff on these other continents, and lands beyond the Flanass. I know I've done a bunch of stuff for that, and I'm working on more. So do stay tuned. There'll be probably a lot more news on these things at some point. Hope you're all doing really, really well. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.